right, what's going on, everybody? It's your host, Nathan Garth. Today we are going to be talking about the college football brackets, unveiling, and kind of what some of my predictions are going forward. As you remember, we did this last year.
If you think I hate Penn State, I really dislike Notre Dame.
I think this is probably going to be my biggest upset in the whole playoffs is I have Notre Dame knocking off Georgia.
Yeah, first of all, I got to give you your credit. You were the one that put me on the Indiana at the very beginning, the SIG effect, but I never believed in just betting on the number one team to just win it all.
Ohio State knocking off Notre Dame last year, and Notre Dame being the center of attention for this bracket as well, so we'll get into that as well. But as a reminder, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Your guys' support is what drives us to put these videos out every week, if not every day. So while the football season is winding down and coming to the end, we will still be putting out content almost every single day. So without further ado, we will talk about the 2025 college football bracket. So obviously the controversy, who should be in, who shouldn't be out. Should Notre Dame be in over Miami, even though Miami beat them? Should they both be in and Alabama be out? Do conference championship games matter? All of that stuff. In my opinion, going into that conference championship weekend, I kind of looked at Miami and Notre Dame being one group and Alabama and BYU being one group. I thought if one of Notre Dame or Miami was in, then the other should be in. Same with Alabama and BYU. You could argue that BYU has a better resume than a couple teams in this college football playoffs. Definitely A&M, probably Miami as well. You could argue Alabama, obviously JMU and Tulane as well, but the problem with BYU is they just didn't play enough good teams. Their best win was Utah, and their two losses both coming to Texas Tech in the regular season and in the conference championship. So they said that conference championship games are not supposed to affect the bracket, which we saw with Alabama not moving down a spot, which I thought was a little crazy. But apparently it affected BYU because BYU dropped 2 spots. Again, I don't know why. I get why Miami's in over Notre Dame, but I don't get why Notre Dame was ranked ahead of Miami, and then Miami jumped them with both of them not playing. I think the committee should have just jumped Miami in the first place. But nonetheless, we have our bracket. We'll kind of walk through it, my thoughts on each game and who I think is going to win. So the bracket I'm looking at starts top left. So we will start with Alabama-Oklahoma, which is actually the first game of the bracket on Friday. Obviously, these two teams played earlier in the regular season, and Oklahoma won that matchup. I believe that was before the Mateer injury. I could be wrong. Anyways, I think that Oklahoma, obviously their defense is elite. I think they have some issues on offense. A lot of that has to do with Mateer's hand being hurt, I think, and coming back a little too quick. Alabama did not look good in that SEC championship game at all, which is extra strange because Alabama typically owns Georgia, and especially in the Kirby Smart era, and especially in the SEC championship games. I think Kirby Smart was 0-4 against Bama in SEC championship games, so that was a big shocker to me. I didn't necessarily think Alabama was going to win, but I definitely thought it was going to be a good game. I think it's hard to beat a team twice. I think Oklahoma's gone in a kind of different direction than Bama since that game. Besides the SEC championship game, Bama had been playing really good. I think Bama wins this game. I definitely think it's low scoring. I definitely think it'll be a close game. But I have Alabama winning this one. Next game is Oregon JMU. Didn't even talk about that. The ACC not even getting an a conference champ auto bid in. So we have JMU versus Oregon. I was a big JMU defender, as you guys know, throughout the season on them getting in, them deserving to get in. But I mean, it's Oregon JMU. There's not much you can say about this game. I would love it if JMU kept it close, but I truly do not see a way that the Dukes go into Autzen Stadium and give Oregon any headache, truthfully. I think Oregon is consistently up 20 this whole game, and maybe JMU scores late to make it look closer than it does, or Oregon scores late to win by 28-30, but I got Oregon in this game as well. Going over to the other Group of 5 game, Tulane Ole Miss, also another rematch of a game that was played earlier this year. Ole Miss won that game pretty handily with, I think they won by like 34 or something. I think this will be a lot closer. Obviously, another headline that we did not talk about was Lane Kiffin leaving the Ole Miss program before the playoffs started. I don't necessarily think that'll make as big as an effect as some people are acting. While the head coach is obviously an important aspect of a football team, they aren't involved as much in the game planning, play calling as one might think. Now, Lane Kiffin is definitely someone that is more involved in the play calling than most head coaches, but I think they'll be fine. I see Ole Miss winning this. I think this is actually going to be a decently close game, like a 10-point game. I definitely think Tulane covers the spread on this, but I really don't see a way that Tulane can stop Trinidad Chambliss and Kawan Lacey and the Ole Miss offense. And I mean, the Ole Miss defense should be able to keep up. I could see this game being like a 31-21, 31-17 type game. But I have Ole Miss winning this as well. Miami versus Texas A&M. Like we mentioned, controversy with should Miami get in? If Miami's in, should Notre Dame be in? Yada, yada, yada. I think they definitely made the right call with Miami being in over Notre Dame. I personally think Notre Dame's probably a better team at the moment, and I actually think both teams should have got in, but I think in the case where only one got in, they did the right thing. While it's supposed to be the 12 best teams, when you have Group of 5 teams in, that's just not the case. So if you're not truly putting in the 12 best teams, I'm fine with them putting in the more deserving team of the two. And it sets a precedent that playing the games on the field do matter. So for this game in general, I actually think this is going to be my first upset. I'm going to have Miami winning this game. Texas A&M just hasn't impressed me much. They played all the worst teams in the SEC. And then they finally played Texas, which isn't even like arguably a top 3 or 4 team in the SEC. And they just get boat raced. The score didn't reflect it, but they were getting dominated that entire game. Marcel Reed's good. Concepcion's good. But I just think Miami star power off the edge, and some of their playmakers on offense with Malachi Toney. I just think Miami handles business here, which would be a huge win going into the 12th man in College Station. But this is going to be my first upset, and I'm going to have Miami winning this game. So we'll go to the second round matchups. Got Alabama versus Indiana, Oregon versus Texas Tech, Ole Miss versus Georgia, and Miami versus Ohio State. Honestly, a awesome bracket if that's how it shakes up. I actually think it'll be an awesome bracket regardless of the first round winners. But Alabama, Indiana, this is going to be a theme of this video. Like, Indiana, Ohio State, I truly think are on a different level than the rest of the country. Outside of one team that you'll see sooner, but I think Indiana takes care of business here. I do think that if Indiana were to lose before the national championship game, this would be where they lose. I definitely think Alabama has a chance to win this game. Ty Simpson airing it out. And if they can create pressure on Mendoza, I think Alabama definitely could have a shot. I don't think it's impossible, but I truly think Indiana's the best team in the country. I think they proved that in the Big Ten championship game. So I have Indiana moving on to this one. Oregon, Texas Tech. I love Texas Tech just from how they became what they are now with just saying screw it and spending money. Obviously, they have the oil money down there in Texas, but truly embracing like, hey, we can buy teams, so we're going to buy our team and we're going to let you know that we bought our team. I kind of love that out of them. They've been a good story all year. While the Big 12 is not necessarily a dominating conference, they handled BYU twice and handled the rest of the teams in that conference when they needed to, obviously dropping their only game to Arizona State, but for the most part took care of business in the Big 12. Jacob Rodriguez, one of my favorite players in the country, should have been at the Heisman ceremony, but that's a conversation for another day. I do actually think that Texas Tech is going to win this. I think it's definitely going to be a sexy upset pick to have Oregon beating them. I mean, they could, but I think Texas Tech has a better defense than Oregon's seen recently. Obviously, they've played Indiana and other Big Ten teams, but I think that Texas Tech gets this done. And I'll just finish on this side of the bracket, Indiana versus Texas Tech. I'm hesitant on saying that Indiana will take care of business here, as I do believe that Texas Tech is really that good of a team. But I just think Mendoza and their wide receivers, that defense, and Cignetti just keeping the boys ready. I think that Indiana still takes care of business against Texas Tech and have Indiana in the national championship game, which is crazy from what Indiana football has been the past, I don't know, forever. They had like one decent mixed-in year that I can remember with Penix, but even that year, I'm sure they were probably like 9-3 or 8-4, like not even a dominating football team. But this story of Cignetti coming in, turning this program around in 2 years, has been remarkable, and I think it's the greatest coaching job, if not in my lifetime, like ever, definitely that I can remember. Cignetti's the best, and I think this Indiana team's destined for greatness, and I mean, they've already done enough to cement themselves as one of the more memorable teams in a long time. So that's the left side of the bracket. I have Indiana in the national championship. Back to the right side, Miami versus Ohio State. I think that might be an ass whooping, if I'm being frank. Like I said, Miami does have playmakers, and their edge rushers are going to be first-round picks. But this Ohio State team is different. Don't get it confused with Indiana knocking them off, because Indiana's good too. I think Ohio State handles business here pretty easily and advance into the Final Four. And then Georgia, Ole Miss. This is a weird one. I think this is as close of a game to where not having Lane might be the difference. If you can remember, Ole Miss was up on Georgia by 8 going into the fourth quarter this year. Ended up having a horrific fourth quarter and blowing that game. And then last year they beat Georgia. So Ole Miss definitely knows how to compete and keep up with Georgia. If they had Lane, I know, like I mentioned earlier, the head coach isn't as big of a deal, but I think that this game is so close that I think with Lane, I probably pick Ole Miss here. But without Lane, I'm picking Georgia. Gunnar Stockton has definitely been playing a lot better. Kirby Smart finally has hit defense going after the first half of the year, them not being able to generate any pressure on the quarterback. So I think they're humming at the right time. It's kind of weird. Third overall Georgia, I feel like hasn't been talked about that much during the season. So you give me a top 3 ranked Georgia team that's quote unquote under the radar, I'll take that any day. So obviously pretty square having the top 4 teams in the Final Four. If I'm being truthful, it probably doesn't shake out that way. I could see Alabama making a run, Oregon making a run, maybe Ole Miss knocks off Georgia, A&M starts playing to their capabilities. That could happen, but I truly think the top 4 teams are significantly better than some of the other teams that they'll be playing. So, and a Georgia-Ohio State semifinal would be so awesome. It's funny how if this shaked up the Final Four, Ohio State versus Georgia, 2 of the biggest blue bloods and biggest names in the sport, and then you have Indiana and Texas Tech on the other side, which from a team perspective, just as good, just as dominant this year, stuff like that, just not the same name, which is cool for college football. We can still have the blue bloods and the powerhouses competing for national championships, but we also have the Indianas and the Texas Techs and stuff like that. I think that's what NIL was made for, and I think that it's important that we celebrate it, while we still need to be cautious about some of the results that are going to come from NIL and all this unlimited transfer portal and stuff like that. I think this is the reason that you want this, you want NIL to be a thing, is to get teams like Indiana and Texas Tech into these big games. So I think it's cool. I am actually going to have my first upset of the year, of the bracket. This is not going to be a Big Ten championship rematch in the Natty. This is going to be a Georgia versus Indiana national championship. I think Kirby Smart, with his experience coaching in big games, he's going to have the boys ready. He's going to have Gunnar Stockton locked in. Defense humming around. I think it'll probably be a really low-scoring game, but I think Georgia takes care of business and advances to the national championship game. And the 2025-2026 national championship game, Indiana, Georgia, after last year, you could definitely tell that Indiana was trending upwards, and they had the right coach, and they were in a better spot than they've ever been in. But I don't know if you could have predicted being in the national championship, or things that have already happened, winning the Big Ten championship, being undefeated, being the number 1 overall seed. And I think they continue that, and it is one of the greatest seasons that we've ever seen. That would make them 16-0 with wins against Penn State, Iowa, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, Texas Tech. If all this shakes out the way that I'm saying, could be one of the greatest seasons just from a opponent and record standpoint that we've ever seen. But I do think that Indiana gets it done and does take home the college football championship. I think this was a really, really fun year for college football. I think the landscape of college football is going to change a lot here going forward. With NIL and the collective bargaining and these head coaching changes and the timing of things, I think that's the biggest thing, is that the timing of the transfer portal, the college football playoff, and the school semester just all don't line up. And I think, truthfully, they're going to get to a point where these college athletes aren't really considered students, and it's going to end up being like minor league professional sports, which is crazy. I think it's better for the product of football, but I don't think it's better for just these college kids that not all of them are going to make it to the league and need these degrees and stuff like that. But nonetheless, I love where college football is right now. I think this playoff's going to go to 16 teams here pretty quickly, if not next year. But let me know what you guys think. Who do you guys have as your national championship? Who do you think is going to be the biggest upset? And then let me know what you think about some of the awards that just were announced. The Heisman, the Doak Walker, the Blitnikoff, why some receivers are winning the Receiver of the Year but aren't even winning the Receiver of the Year in their own conference. Hence Malachi Lemon and Jeremiah Smith. But nonetheless, I could rant on that forever. That is my college football 2025 bracket results. Really excited to watch these games coming up this weekend. I hope you guys are too. Again, let me know what your thoughts are, who you guys think are winning each matchup. And again, always remember, like, comment, subscribe. We do this for you guys, and we really appreciate your support. So with that being said, I'm out.